Hi there, I'm Uncle Joel with Pen and Reel, and today I want to talk to you about Animal Crossing for the Nintendo Switch. So without further ado, let's dive right in. I've been a fan of Animal Crossing since it first came out on the GameCube. I played the one on the DS as well. I think that one's called New Leaf. But I kind of fell out of video games for a while after that and really only started getting back into video games again right around the time that the Switch came out. So when I found out that they were making a new Animal Crossing game for the Switch, I was excited. And then I started seeing some of the new features that they were adding in, and let me tell you, my excitement ramped up big time. With everything going on in the world right now, with the pandemic and so many people self-isolating and pretty much the entire world just kind of shutting down, I feel like this game is perfect and it came out at just the right time. See, people are going to be spending a lot of time, day in and day out, trying to find a way to occupy themselves, to entertain themselves, and it's going to become very easy to get bored. And what better way to beat that boredom than with a game like Animal Crossing, a game that draws you back every single day and is constantly offering you new content, new people to interact with, new things to do and achieve, and new goals to work towards. Because here's the thing. You could give me an exciting first-person shooter like Doom Eternal, and I'm sure I would have a blast with it. But I would play through it, and the novelty would wear off pretty quickly. And let's face it, there's only so much gameplay available in that sort of game. So once I play through the 20, 30, maybe even 40 hours that the game offers, I would just be done. Likewise, giving me an RPG like a new Final Fantasy or Xenoblade Chronicles or Octopath Traveler or Bravely Default, like all of those are awesome and I love getting wrapped up in a good RPG. But again, they're a finite experience. Playing those games can offer upwards of 100 hours of entertainment. But when we're locked in 24/7 and trying to find ways to occupy ourselves and entertain ourselves, we're going to be playing a lot of games right now if we're gamers. And those 100 hours, let's face it, a lot of us can finish that within a week. Now sure, you might not necessarily finish it that fast, but still, you're going to finish it and then you're going to be left wanting something more, something else, and you're going to have to go find a new game, a different game. Whereas with Animal Crossing, you can play indefinitely, and there's always going to be more stuff to do. There's always going to be more furniture to purchase, more clothes to purchase, more ways of decorating, ways of changing things. And in Animal Crossing New Horizon, you can change the island itself, which opens up so many opportunities. I have seen people terraform their islands to completely replicate the original Zelda map, which is just mind-boggling. And personally, what I'm considering doing is rearranging my entire island and terraforming a maze into it. So any visitors would have to work their way through the maze just to get to the different villagers and just to explore my island. And it's entirely possible that I could move the entire island up 3 stages, so it is basically an island mountain. Or you could flatten out the entire island so that there are no cliffs, there's no scales, there's no waterfalls, nothing. Everything is a flat landscape, dry, arid, completely devoid of life. Or you could fill the entire island with an orchard. And an idea that just occurred to me is that you could section off every single building to be on its own little mini island on your island, making the rest of the island a bunch of water. There are just so many different things that you can do that it makes for nearly endless possibilities. And that's one of the brilliant parts about Animal Crossing, is you can play how you want, you can do what you want, you can play at your own pace. Some people might rush to earn as much money as possible and pay off their house and upgrade their house and do everything as quickly as possible, while other people might take their time. They might play only for a few minutes per day. One person might play for several hours a day, and another person might, pick it up every other day and, just check in casually. And the game works that way. It doesn't punish you for doing things the wrong way. It doesn't force you to play in a specific way. It lets you play at your own pace, in your own style. And ultimately, the game is designed to be played in smaller doses. When the world's functioning like normal, you get home from work, you got a little bit of time before you make dinner, so you squeeze in, say, 20 minutes around Animal Crossing, and that's good. And it's not a big deal. You don't necessarily need more. You might want more, but that's okay. But then they went and included things like the Nook Miles, which makes it so that you can play continually. In older games, I would go around and I would pick the fruit and I would plant the trees and I'd pull the weeds and I'd talk to people, and eventually there wasn't a lot that could be done, especially once the stores closed in the evening. Whereas in this game, with the Nook Miles Plus, they make it so that you can play endlessly. And then, once the stores close, you're much more limited in what you can do. But then once you've got the terraforming, that's the time when you set aside the daily activities and you just go to town rearranging the entire island. And that's the thing. The game is very addictive. It's constantly rewarding you for every little action, giving you that little endorphin kick. Now, all that is not to say that the game is perfect, because it does have some flaws. To start with, the game is very repetitive. Fishing's simple, catching bugs is simple, all of the gameplay is very simple, and you're going to be doing all of it a lot. So if you don't like the gameplay mechanics, and if you don't like repetition, you're going to get bored of this very quickly. Also, they introduced their Bunny Day event, which is the game's version of an Easter event. It's all centered around collecting eggs and then crafting with them. Now, this event is very broken, and as of the time of this recording, Nintendo has released a patch which is supposed to balance it a bit better, but it remains to be seen how well that works. One of the main problems with this is that you get different kinds of eggs that replace a lot of the different things that you would collect. For instance, with crafting, a common thing that you need is iron ore, which you collect by hitting a rock with a shovel. Unfortunately, with the Bunny Day event, they replaced a lot of the things that you can collect from the rocks with stone eggs. And the stone eggs are only useful for Bunny Day specific event items. And so those stone eggs replace stone, clay, iron ore, and different materials that you need, which naturally as a result greatly reduces the stuff that you can craft normally. Likewise, a lot of the fish were replaced by water eggs. Which, if you're looking for water eggs, it's nice that they were so abundant, but if you're just trying to fish, it's aggravating when more than half of the fish you catch just turn out to be another water egg. This event is supposed to last for 12 days, but in the first 4 or 5 days, I collected everything possible, and I am overflowing with eggs, to the point that I'm just going to start selling them off because I can't do anything with them anymore. So hopefully this patch that Nintendo introduced will balance things out, and I'll be a little bit more okay with it. But if this is a sign of events to come, I think it's going to be very problematic, especially for people earlier in the game who haven't already built up a good collection of items. And another problem that Animal Crossing has is the online component and the social aspect. Nintendo has never been great with their online service, sticking for years with their friend codes and lack of messaging system and lack of voice integration and stuff like that. If you look at PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live, they show you how it should be, and Nintendo is a pale comparison. Similarly, with Animal Crossing, it is strangely difficult to play with your friends online, even though the game is designed to be able to be played with them. For instance, I have a friend that I keep seeing pop up online, but since we haven't played together yet, I can't message them in-game. And the Nintendo Switch itself doesn't have a way for me to send them a text message or anything like that. So in order to invite them to my island, I have to generate a one-time code for them, and then I have to text it to them, or find some way outside of the Nintendo Switch to communicate with them, to give them this code for them to enter into the game, and then come visit me. Now, once we have already played together, they're added to my list of friends in-game, but I don't understand why the game doesn't just pull from my profile's friend list. It seems like it's something really simple that, again, Nintendo just dropped the ball on. But then, once you are playing together, well, there's not really much to do. You can visit one another's islands, and I could have a friend over and he can explore my island, or I could go to his island and interact with his villagers and maybe buy things from his shop. But there really isn't much benefit to that, short of if we have items we want to trade with one another. Like, he has a different kind of fruit than I have, so it'd be good to get his fruit from him. But as a whole, there isn't a lot of reason to really go exploring one another's islands. Granted, once you start the terraforming, there's going to be more reason to go visit and see what people have done. But as a whole, there's really not a lot that can be done beyond, hey, come check out where I live. I was hoping that they would have done quite a bit more and give a specifically multiplayer aspect to it, stuff that you cannot do as a single player. For instance, they could include some sort of mini games, such as maybe a timed hide-and-seek mode, or a mode where you disguise as villagers and have to try to act as them and convince the player who is searching for you to choose the villager as you. Sort of a spies in disguise type thing. Or they could have different villagers present you with different custom designs that they like, and then everybody has to compete to recreate one of the designs from memory and see who gets the closest. And then the villagers can vote on which one they like the best, or the players can vote on which one they think got the closest. And these are just ideas off the top of my head. I don't know that those necessarily be the best ways to do it, but Nintendo should have included something like this, and I feel like they should do something like that in the future to make the social aspect more compelling, particularly in the online arena. But all that being said, I still love Animal Crossing. It's relaxing, addictive, it's good for daily gameplay in small doses or in extended doses. It's not going to be for everyone, as many will find it too repetitive and simplistic, but many will get sucked in. When people can't go outside and are stuck trying to entertain themselves for long stretches of time on a daily basis, you can't go wrong with Animal Crossing.